Hi guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts. Welcome to my craft room. Today's video is my Whip It Wednesday video where I show you whatever I've worked on in the craft room this week, no matter how little or how much I worked on that project. One of my regular customers has placed an order. She sent me some fabric and some minky. She wanted to have some bibs and burp cloths made. So part of the things I'd worked on this weekend, well, first of all, let me tell you the story about this fabric. Oy vey. It came in the mail. She sent it in 2 packages. One package had all these cloth diapers. These are the ones with that extra thick padding in the center. It's that gauzy fabric with the little wings on the side. So, you know, however cloth diapers work like that. We didn't use cloth diapers on our kids. But these, anyways, these came in one box. And they came from the post office, the mailman, no problem. Delivered them. Box was intact, nice and pretty and neat. Can you tell where this story is going? And then I'm like, okay, well that's important because those are the diapers, but where's the fabric? Well, the fabric came in a separate box because my customer couldn't fit all the fabric and the diapers in one. As you see, the diapers are quite thick. Hubby brought the package into me and it was in a giant plastic bag. It was a large flat rate priority box from the U.S. Post Office. But it was busted open. There was fabric spilling out everywhere. It was a mess. And I thought, oh, I hope all the fabric's there. She had it separated for me because we're using minky. So there was like, so you knew which color minky went with which project, which other cotton fabric. So I'm making them for a girl and then a gender neutral where they're not going to find out what the baby's going to be until it's born. But anyways, the box came and it had fabric spilling out. Thankfully, I took pictures of everything. All the fabric came. None of it was lost. But the box seemed like it had gotten dropped in a deep, deep puddle because it was all wet. All the fabric was wet. All the minky was wet. It all smelled like wet cardboard. At least it hadn't been there for very long. It actually got lost in North Carolina for a day or two. While one package showed up, the other one said it was in North Carolina. We're like, oh no, because it was just before the hurricane hit. Well, I guess they had already gotten some rain because the mailman dropped it in a puddle. Busted it open. I had to hand wash because the fabric was already cut and I did not want to spend the time serging. I don't have a serger, but you know, sewing around it, doing a zigzag around it. So I hand washed all of it and I dried all of it. And I want to guess, I think there's like 15 fabrics and 3 or 4 minkies. So yeah, it was a process. That took me a whole day just to get it all washed, rinsed, and air dried. So then I went through and I started tracing around and picking out the fabrics, put them together, cutting it out and all. So I got a lot done. I haven't flipped them out the right side yet, but you see this is that nice soft fuzzy, I believe it's called minky no matter what it looks like. So but what I'm doing is I made it through. Some of them are just pinned, you know, I've got the burps and the bibs pinned and stuff, and other ones on Sunday I was able to stitch around. And like I said, I just haven't flipped them and top stitched them yet. But what I'm going to be doing is I have 15 of these bibs. Then I have a bonus because she sent so much fabric. She wanted 15 bibs and 15 burp cloths for the 15 diapers that I have here. But there was so much that I went ahead and made some of these burp cloths where you set it over your shoulder and this is where your neck is right here. So whether it's, you know, spinning around or they got enough to spit up over your shoulder. So I made some of these for her to test out because she's never had these before from me. So I was able to get 10 of these out of all the fabric left over. And then if you haven't seen the burp cloths where you put the fabric on them, what you do is you cut a thin strip, you fold over the edges, and what I'll be doing is I'll putting it down the center of the diaper, and I'll just go ahead and top stitch right along the edge. And of course, I have all this extra. I'll be cutting it off. You fold over the bottom and the top end as you're going and stuff like that. So I need to do all that still. But this is what I've been working on this weekend. Let me clear this all out and I'll show you the next stuff. Now this is my Valentine quilt and I just zoomed in so you can actually see the quilting. So nobody can say that I didn't finish it. You can see that I just meandered all around, free motioned everywhere. I used this main fabric here. I used that for the binding, and when I stitched the binding down, I did it by machine because this is just for hubby and I. So I did this squiggly wiggly all the way down it. Thankfully, I got this done before my machine died because I don't have this design on the little Singer. It's just got your basic straight stitch and a zigzag stitch. So that machine doesn't have any of these fancy fun things, which is sad because there's probably about 5 or 6 of them on my brother machine that I used a lot. So that's all finished. Like I said, I need to go ahead and figure out what my next quilt is going to be. But for now, this is done. And I can put this away and you won't have to see it again. Now that's all I had for my sewing. And the rest, I'm sorry, is going to be tons of knitting stuff. So if you don't want to go ahead and sit through the knitting, even if you're not a knitter, you know, sometimes it's fun to see what other people are working on, even if it's not a craft that you enjoy. I did finish my hat last week. This is my bank head. I was right here at the orange stitch marker, so it's all finished. The ends are all woven in. So this is ready to go to the gift or the donate pile. I'm not sure I know anyone who would really be interested in these colors. They could go for a man or woman, kid, girl, whatever. But I think I'm just going to add it to my donate pile unless it's something someone else has asked for. And there's the top of it. Kind of makes a little bullseye-ish. I also finished my gray gradation shawl. I just love the way it's kind of just stripes the way through here. As you can see, I really didn't have that much left to do. I just did a few rows, probably about 10 or 15 rows after this. As I mentioned in my Talk to Me Tuesday video, I still need to go ahead and steam block this to get this, all the stitches to lay nice and to open it up nicely. And this is my bind off edge, and you can see just how it curls, just very, very little. If you were to wear it like this, it'd start to roll up. So it's one of those things that when I give it a little steam blocking, it'll hold it all down and it'll be nice. Now, I didn't weave in the ends on this one because I just wanted to show you guys how much yarn I had left. When you're knitting like this and you only have a little, when you're knitting along and you're not sure if you're going to have enough yarn to make it to the end of the project, it's called yarn chicken. And I won. I didn't have very much left, maybe about 6 or 7 inches. But it doesn't matter because I had plenty. Now I did bind it off and then I undid my bind off because it was still a little bit too tight and it was just being a little funky and I didn't like the way it looked. So I did the Jenny surprisingly stretchy bind off. It gives it a little bit extra stretch to it, so a lot of times with your bind off it could be tight and it won't be able to move around. And when you put a shawl on, you want to kind of have it stretch around your back a little bit. So you probably won't see this again, unless it looks really amazing after I block it, then I might bring it back, you never know. But because I finished that shawl, I get to cast on another one, right? I'm waiting for an order to come in from Michaels. I've ordered a bunch of yarn that I picked up on sale, and then I will be starting another shawl. That is all the things that I've finished for this week. Now let's get into what I've been working on. Of course, we've got Robbie's socks in the turtle bag. I'm not even sure I actually picked up this sock. I don't even think I moved the stitch marker from last week. But I did work on this one a little bit. I was so busy working on other things that I didn't really sit down and put too much time into this because I know this is his last pair that I'll probably be making for Christmas. And I have other things that need to be shipped out for Christmas when Robbie lives right down the road from me. And if he has 3 other pairs of socks, if he gets this one on New Year's Eve, I'm perfectly fine with it. So he tends to get pushed off to the side. I will probably spend one Sunday afternoon watching, like I said, I like to watch the Mom and Pop live stream every Sunday. Check the iCard for their channel. And this is a really good project to knit on while I'm chatting with everyone because I can set it down easily and it's not anything I have to think about. And I can knit while watching. I don't have to actually watch what I'm doing. But this week during the live stream, I had other things. I was working on those bibs and I had a different project that I'll show you that I was knitting on. Anytime you see these knitting projects, if you look down below, I have a link to my Ravelry page in the description box. It'll give you all the details. You guys are seeing Robbie socks every week for like 2 months, and I really don't want to kind of keep babbling on over and over about the same thing. You guys are going to get tired of it. So I did work a little bit onto my antler cardigan by Tin Can Knits. This is a paid for pattern. I'm using the Ultra Mellow Spin Dark DK by Mary Maxim, the yarn. I made it into the blue. It's kind of like a royal blue. So here I was on last week's video. I'm at about a little over 8 inches, and I have to go to 19 inches before I get to the sleeves. So I have quite a bit of ways to go. I haven't even hit the halfway mark yet. Let me move my stitcher as usual, because otherwise if I don't move my stitch marker, I will forget. So yep, this is coming along nicely. You saw me knit on it if you watched the Watch Me Knit video to see how I knit Continental. You'll see a couple every now and then. You'll see like stitches that don't look quite right. They look like they're running or something. And it's just because that's where I had to add in the yarn. Once you go back through and you weave in the ends and tighten it up, you won't end up having these holes like that. They do kind of freak me out when I see them, because I'm like, ah. But I'm trying to consciously pick this up and at least do, because as you see, it's a really long, there's a lot of stitches on here. I don't remember if it's, 300, 400, 500 stitches, whatever it is. But I try to pick it up and at least get one pass on it every day. Hopefully one knit row and one purl row, just to get through the process and get it done faster. Once I get through these bibs and burps, I'll be able to spend more time on it. But as you know, customer orders always have to come first. I cast on a new hat. This is the Midas hat. You're going to have to check the information down below right now, because I forgot to write it in I have my little notebook where I keep track of all my patterns. And I got interrupted this morning before I wrote it down. But it's the Midas hat. It is a free pattern, I believe. I'm using some Caron Simply Soft yarn. You haven't seen this at all yet, so this is a totally new one for you, except if you watched my Knit With Me video. It does look a little strange. There's a big purl ridge right here. And what this is, so I don't lose my stitches, it's a folded brim. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm right at the point now where I'm gonna be combining the two of these together, and it makes it extra thick and warm, and you don't have that ribbing. So if you want a nice smooth look, I've seen a lot of hats like this in the store where they don't have any ribbing. You'll get that nice smooth look, and you'll get that extra double warmth to go over your ears, and you won't have to worry about the ribbing or folding it up or anything. You do have to do a provisional bind off. You have to do a provisional cast on, and what that means is you just crochet a chain and you're picking up stitches in it. So now all these stitches are still live. So I had a request to have a video on how I actually take this piece out. So I'll be doing that one soon, because I'm right at that point right now, luckily. But what I'm going to end up doing is you bring this piece to the inside, and to combine these two, you're going to be knitting this where I'm finished knitting right here, and this is where I started knitting. On your next round, you're going to knit the two of those together so that they become one piece, and then you'll just keep knitting like you normally do, like here, and it'll be nice and one layer for the rest of the hat. So if you're interested on taking out a provisional cast on and combining it to the next row, look out for that video coming soon. So now the other new cast on I have, I was watching a knitting podcast, and they'd casted on the Agent 99 Cowl by Dawn Moyer. Now this is a paid for pattern. She's a Canadian designer, and I think it was like $4 Canadian, so I think I only paid $3.10 American. If you know what a cowl is, it's this big fluffy scarf that's in a circle that you wear around your neck like a big giant fluffy donut. But this is it combines a cowl with a shawl. So it's called a bandana cowl, and you have the part that goes around your neck, and then you have like the point of a bandana that comes down. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and put a picture in here so you can see what this pattern is going to look like. And what it is it's when you're wearing your winter jacket and you don't have, sometimes you don't always have your jacket zipped up all the way. This is going to be like when you take a scarf and you tuck it into your jacket. You won't have to worry about ends coming untucked or anything. This cowl goes around your neck, and it just slides down almost bib-like into the front of your jacket. So it'll block all the wind from hitting you. So I'm using one of my favorite squishy yarns, the Loops and Thread Wool-like. This is a sock yarn. This is really thin, so I'm doubling it to get to the worsted weight that they need. And it helps make it really kind of squishy. This is in the color Denim Blue. It's kind of a light denim. It's just a little bit lighter than what you're seeing here in the camera. And I haven't gotten very far. I am knitting it magic loop. This is going to be down the center where you have to increase. I don't have a set of needles. You're supposed to, I believe it's like a 24-inch. These are probably a 36 or something like that. And I just don't have the right needles, so I'm having to magic loop it, so it'll be all right. It's just that the center of it is not in the center of my knitting. No big deal, right? Just starting off with a little seed stitch. So as I said, I just casted this on last night. I haven't gotten very far. I think I'm only on row 5 or 6. I'll leave you here with a shot of my crazy cardigan. But that's all I've been working on this week. A little bit of sewing and a lot of knitting. I have not started a new embroidery pattern because I did choose one for us to start with next week. So I will be starting up one soon with you guys so that we can go ahead and stitch along. I don't have a specific day yet, so just go ahead and keep a lookout for that video. As I always say, if you want to see what's going on, go ahead and subscribe. And if you ring that little bell, YouTube will let you know when I have a new video up. And I'm trying to put in the very beginning, like knit, embroidery, sew with me, so you guys know which videos. Plus, you'll always be able to tell by the picture. If you see my smiling face, you know it's a Talk to Me Tuesday, and otherwise you'll see the projects that I'm working on. Still have to do our scrappy herringbone. We'll be ready for the next part in that this coming Friday. I believe this week we are going to be trimming up all our blocks and ready to go ahead and stitch them all together and get them quilted in the following week. So I need to actually finish my blocks because I still have a couple left to do. Ooh, I set myself up for another busy week, but that's okay. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Happy crafting. Bye.